So at this point here, we're on Permathia 3-3, which is called the Road Forks. Back in the old day, if you're watching this from the old days, and or even if you're not really familiar with FF11, the whole Rhapsodies of Vana'diel story with the girl from the future, Roa and everything, none of that existed. That side story, as I've mentioned before, interweaves and parallels to the main story going on from the old days, the vanilla game, the expansions. Hope that makes sense for anybody who might be checking my series out for the first time. So what we're going to be doing here is, it's been a while since we've done any Rhapsodies of Vana'diel content, and since it's literally paralleling to where we are in Chains of Permathia, the FF11 Clupedia recommends that you finish Rhapsodies of Vana'diel up to a minimum of a certain mission, or ideally complete the entire Chains of Permathia mission line for Rhapsodies of Vana'diel before going any further with Chains of Permathia. So since it's been a good while since we did any Rhapsodies of Vana'diel, and I'm excited to tackle some more of that because I've never seen that before either, we're going to go jump into that. So our next Rhapsodies of Vana'diel mission is Call to Serve. Tenzin learned about the darkness that the future holds and insists that it can be changed. Your bonds with him cause the orb to flare up in your butt and open a new path before you. The next step is to meet with Prishe in Port Jeuno. Oh, there she is. Yo, Mrpierso. I hauled tail as soon as I heard. This creepy old coot rushes in and starts blabbing about dying world this, dark future that. Ugh. It was all I could do not to smack him right in the kisser. The blood rushed to my head and now it's pounding like I just ran face first into a wall. Well, at the pace you take off and run without thinking, I could see that happening. What? Nothing. Well, that solves the mystery of his obnoxious prattling. Then this whole emptiness thing's got to be connected, right? And you mean to say that it's our destiny to send it packing? Unfortunately, although Aroa can see the grand picture, there are many details that escape her. The one most familiar with the situation is he who came after her. This ambassador from the Void guy, yeah? I've half a mind to rip that mask from his scrawny little neck and expose him for the sham he is. Oh yeah, that guy. It's been a while since we've touched on any Rhapsodies of Vana'diel content, so some of this I've got to kind of rack the memory and remember. Would that our paths had crossed, but I know only his name, and that Lord Mrpierso and Lady Aroha sparred with him. And, did you pop him a new one? He looked amazing. He was fearsome? I barely broke a sweat. That's the Mrpierso I know and love. Hell yeah, hang on. You didn't actually smack him around, did you? Can't fool me. My fingers start to twitch whenever someone's trying to finagle their way out of the truth. Oh, my butt's glowing again. Can't fool. This is no time for nonsense. That man can call forth voids at will. Wait, there's something desperately wrong. Oh, hold on, I gotta take this. Ah! There is no need for concern, Lady Prishe. The same thing happened earlier, the orb filling with light in Mrpierso's butt. This is what Aroha was mentioning, is it not? Yeah, Prishe, my butt does things like that from time to time. You'll get used to it. I'm still getting used to it. Urk, I thought the damn thing was trying to rip my soul from my body. Lady Prishe, I assure you no such thing would occur. Long as I'm still in one piece, I couldn't give a flying But you... never mind. But let's track back a minute to where we can find this Aroha of yours. She had promised to be here. Do you suppose something happened to her? Maybe she got lost. She didn't seem well. I think she forgot. I'm gonna go with she didn't seem well. She never seems well. So you're saying she let it hurl? That can't be good. A priestess's calling is to remain sheltered in her cloister and pray to the gods. And now she might be lost in this most bustling of towns. I must find her before something happens. I should probably head off to find her too. Maybe she made her way to Lower Jeuno. Oh, and we got a cipher of Prishe's alter ego. I already had a regular Tenzin one, I think from Login Points or one of the Mughals or something. But I did not have one of Prishe. Okay, so that cutscene completed the call to serve. We are now on numbering days. And it looks like this is going to be another cutscene. Some of these missions, literally, it's go do a cutscene, get some more story, get some more lore, and then move on to the next thing. Okay, so despite the fact that Prishe said she was going to lower Jeuno, Tenzin ran off. I guess we're checking the one area that they weren't checking. We need to go to F7, which should be just down this way, and examine the Door Marble Bridge. Coins off loosened lips at taverns and markets, but to turn up empty-handed, where could she have gone? Mrpierso, is that? Oh. Being a creepy individual as always. Stand strong. Oh, I don't know. I feel a little lightheaded. Whatever you're doing, I do not consent. Back, cur. I know not why you seek to spread the emptiness, but you will have to get through my blade first. Volto Oscuro. I cannot be destroyed. Let the darkness fill thy soul. There is no other way. The reckoning is at hand, and you, Tenzin, will lead them there. Lady Aroha. Aroha, come back to us. The ambassador shall not go unpunished. He took it. He took it from me. Took what? The blessing. Phoenix's blessing. This blade I wield also contains the blazing life force of the avatar Phoenix. I could feel Phoenix flare up upon meeting Aroha, but I cannot say that Phoenix itself is complete. Yet my blade sings the praises of that young woman, feeling that in the future she may be Phoenix incarnate. Though only a portion of its energy was entrusted to it, let there be no doubt in the future Phoenix will have fully revived. The awe is indescribable. But this is no time to wax poetic. Once whole, Phoenix's life force will be without peer, and not even the greatest darkness can overcome it. Not even the emptiness that strangles the Far East. Mrpierso, seeing what happened to Aroha, and knowing what my blade has told me, there's only one logical conclusion. We must wrest Phoenix's blessing back from the Ambassador of the Void. How do you respond? Hold on a moment. How did you get to all that again? Let's do it. It's what we do, man. Phoenix Blade, please guide us in these bleak times. Why are you two sitting there having a little tea party? We're standing, having a tea party. Actually, there's an absence of tea here. I'd like some tea. I might go make some tea, actually. My fists are aching for a workout, and you know why. Because I laid eyes on this creepy masked man. He kept yammering something about being surprised to cross paths again, and that I haven't changed at all. But I've never seen that worthless piece of trash in my life. The masked man, tell us, where did he go? I do not know, but he muttered something about an astral candescence. I'll give him a couple of good chops around the face next time he's here. He might have been alone, but that decisive tone of voice, he definitely was talking with someone. An astral candescence. The name is not altogether unfamiliar. It is a special type of instrument found in the land of Aht Urghan. For years I had been aching to study one, but I never had cause to visit the Empire. At what now? What's that? Can you eat it? Wow, you have been living under a rock. Mrpierso, we must make haste. One of my disciples found out that the Tenshoto and Lower Jeuno can offer us safe passage there. Oh, it's got us heading to Aht Urghan. Well, we have gone there before to unlock Blue Mage, Corsair, and Puppet Master. Let us waste not a breath. Cool. I've got a couple errands to take care of here, but save me a piece of that masked bugger for later. I can't help but wonder if someone or something is controlling him. Mrpierso, may your journey be a safe one. Okay, so for this next mission, we're going to be zoning into Aht Urghan Whitegate. I think their intention was if you were a newer player, this would be a way to kind of softly introduce you to Aht Urghan. So it says zone into Aht Urghan Whitegate for a cutscene. However, if you lack access to Aht Urghan Whitegate, so if you are following this as a guide, you can speak with Forcell in Lower Jeuno inside the Tenshoto. Selecting where is Tenzin will grant you access. But since we already have access, let's just go ahead and teleport there. Lord Mrpierso, I urgently request your aid. Are you always this dramatic? What happened? I need you to infiltrate an organization known as Salaheem Sentinels. Do you always enter like that? I don't know. Forgive me for speaking out of turn and for the abrupt, smoky entrance, as usual, but our adventurer companion must be completely lost without a clear explanation. Of course. I met with a particular someone upon setting foot here in Aht Urghan, a staunch ally known as Jeuno. He shrouds himself in a tarnished black outfit, a ridiculous costume the likes of which I have never seen. One cannot help but admire his commitment to the cause, playing dress-up in a bid to fully maintain his cover. Sir Tenzin, that is no costume, and furthermore, it is wholly irrelevant to this discussion. Jeez. Just the headstrong guy who just means well, but just leaps from point A to point G. Let me get back on track. Jeuno strove to find out all he could about this ambassador, but a Mithra of most vile temperament dragged him kicking and screaming while he was in the midst of an interrogation. It was then that we lost all contact. Kagero, for her part, turned up something interesting. That Mithra belongs to an organization known as Salaheem Sentinels. What is more, this company is currently recruiting adventurers to aid in their cause. I fear you're joining this band of mercenaries is the only way to make contact with Jeuno. Sure, I'll do it. That's the only way we can get this going. Those were the words I had been hoping to hear, you eager adventurer you. Salaheem Sentinel's office is located in the building just beyond here. While you surreptitiously serve in Salaheem Sentinels, I will make inquiries of my own. Come, Kagero. She just jumps into the air like frickin' Superman. Wow. So yeah, this is just an example, like, talking about how Rhapsodies of Vana'diel was added so many years later, and how it's tying into the story and really trying to push events to happen. I think that's really neat that they went ahead and did that, and I'm enjoying experiencing it for the first time. And it's really cool for me too, because I never got to do the Aht Urghan story back in the day either. So to get to see all of this for the first time paired up, it's really fresh and it's fun.
We are currently on like the very first mission, Land of Sacred Serpents, which we flagged when we first came to Aht Urghan to unlock Blue Mage, Corsair, and Puppet Master. I initially wasn't expecting to jump over to another expansions mission line until we'd finished Chains of Promathia, but I do like the way Rhapsodies of Vana'diel is tying all this in, and I want to keep following that. So we're just going to pop into Salaheem Sentinels, and we've got to get through about technically the first 12 Aht Urghan missions, which I think is going to be just like a lot of running around and cutscenes and such. And then we can move on to ROV, and then we can get back to more COP stuff. And we're strolling in here just after midnight, so not exactly regular business hours, but hey, cutscenes a coming. Hello there. What are you doing standing around here? You're just getting in the way. Can't you see how busy I am? Yes, going over documents while holding a mace. What's your deal anyway? You got business with me? Can you put the mace down and we'll talk some more? No? Nope. Never seen you before. Your lack of fashion sense, that slack-jawed face, that slouching posture, you can't possibly be from around these parts. You're a foreigner, aren't you? What do you say to that? I'm sorry I offended you? Please don't hit me. Hey, I knew it. You're just the type of person I've been looking for. So you came to be a mercenary, did ya? I came to get certain story stuff done for my YouTube. Yeah, I came to be a mercenary, I guess. Do you want to be a mercenary? Sure. Now you're speaking my language. And I hope me holding this big spiky club here didn't persuade you to answer a certain way. Your long journey has been worthwhile. We've been waiting for you for 20 years. Most of our work is official Empire business. In fact, we're the only mercenary organization in all of Al-Zabi that the royal family puts its trust in. We're the best of the best, the cream of the crop. But you won't get any lucrative offers just finishing up grunt work, so don't go thinking you can slack off. Wouldn't dream of it. Now, do you get it? First, you gotta show me what you're made of. Naja hands you a supplies package. There's a prominent organization in this nation called the Immortals. Ever heard of them? Mothers here use stories of the Immortals to scare their kittens into eating their vegetables. The Immortals are the Empress's personal bodyguards, and they only hire the best of the best blue mages around. Common folk like us aren't even allowed a glimpse of Her Royal Highness. But the Immortals, they're different. They have special permission to attend to the Empress at close quarters. Is this sinking into that thick skull of yours? In other words, you can't get anywhere in this nation without going through the Immortals first. So before you do anything else, I need you to go deliver this supplies package and make yourself known. If you manage to make it back alive, we can start thinking about what to do with you. So basically, Aht Urghan's equivalent to the dinky level 1 quest for beginners. The Immortals guard the Empress, ensure the safety of Al-Zabi, and manage affairs dealing with assault. Each assault warden is stationed at a staging point on the Ilaruzi Atoll, Devuka Isle, Halvung, in the domain of the Mamulja, or on Azuf Isle. No matter how high and mighty the Immortals are, I'm sure they're tired of being stuck in the middle of nowhere with nothing to do. They'll probably be glad to see you. Do you do all your job interviews holding that thing? Go deliver this supplies package and let them know who you are. After that, we can start talking about your contract. And I will shove this up your ass if necessary. I don't doubt that for a second. Simply having that conversation with Naja Salaheem was the end of Mission 1, so we should be able to blitz through these pretty quick. So now we're on the Aht Urghan mission number 2, Immortal Sentries. And for this, we have to go to one of the assault staging points and hand in the supply package. The guide does say it's advantageous to eventually visit all of the supply points, but for the purpose of getting through this and getting back on track with where we're at in story, we just need to do the one. So we're going to head to a place called Halvung. We just need to head over to Al-Zabi and exit into Baflaw Thickets. So originally when we got to this point in the Rhapsodies of Vana'diel story, I wasn't too keen on jumping over to another expansion and starting missions there when we were still trying to do the previous one, Chains of Permathia. But, I gave it some thought and I looked ahead at some of the Rhapsodies of Vana'diel rewards. And if we can get a little bit further, we'll actually get I believe it's called the Rhapsody in Crimson, which will allow us to summon a 5th Trust. So that's something I'd really like to get sooner rather than later, because being able to summon that 5th Trust will be so useful. I wonder if anything's going to aggro us here. The stuff's coming up as incredibly easy prey, so we might actually get aggroed. We'll see. And as I've said before, I really enjoy how they're interweaving Rhapsodies of Vana'diel into the story. I know for a lot of people that had already done these missions in the past, that was very much a new thing, a new feature. But for me, having not done much of the story and seeing it for the first time, I get to see that for the first time, and I get to see Rhapsodies of Vana'diel for the first time. So it's really cool just seeing how they mixed all that together. Oh, hello, kitty. I should probably invite Ragecat to be my party buddy here. There we go. Partied up. Now we've got the epic Aht Urghan battle music.